and a couple of bar girls, one having her nails done and the other browsing the internet before starting her shift. The owner of the shop, Kun B, was in her late 50s with greying hair and deep lines on her face, but she still had the body of a much younger woman. In tribute to the years she had spent earning her living pole dancing at a bar a few metres further up the street. She greeted Harper with a smile, took the money he gave her for half an hour's internet use, and waved a hand in the direction of the terminals. "Any you like, Lex." Most Thais had a problem pronouncing Lex, and Lek was a common nickname in Thailand. It meant small, and Harper had long ago accepted it as his Thai name. He took the terminal furthest away from the counter, tilted the screen to hide it from the other customers, and logged on. He knew the email address and password as well as he knew his own name, even though the account had never been used to send a single email. Its only purpose was to allow for secure communications between him and his handler, Charlotte Button, formerly of MI5, but now controlling a shadowy, strictly deniable organisation that handled jobs that were too risky, too politically sensitive, or too illegal for government spooks to touch. It was known to those who worked for it as the Pool, partly because of the fluid nature of the group, but also because a substantial number of its members, like Harper, came from Liverpool. The Pool was a commercial organisation, largely funded by the UK government, but run at arm's length from it. Most of the company's business was legitimate: bodyguarding, training the security personnel of Western allies and client states, supervising the security of buildings, plants and installations in sensitive areas. They even had a maritime division combating piracy around the Gulf and the Horn of Africa. All these activities, and other, even more clandestine ones, would once have been carried out by British troops, British spooks, or British government agencies, but in common with the US in a policy described as secure outsourcing. More and more secret operations were now kept off the books and contracted out to private companies. The source of much of the company's very substantial budget was still primarily Her Majesty's government, but the money was paid through offshore accounts several times removed from the true source, allowing the government and its agencies to deny all knowledge of it and responsibility for it. If anything ever went wrong, it was the company, not the UK government, that had to take the flak. Button and Harper were the only people who could access the email account, and they used the draft folder to send messages to each other, a technique borrowed from Al-Qaeda terrorists who had developed it to communicate without being detected by even the most high-tech surveillance systems. If an email had ever actually been sent, it could have been intercepted and read by operatives at the National Security Agency in the US and GCHQ in the UK, who had the capacity to eavesdrop on any phone call and intercept any email anywhere in the world. However, since no emails were ever transmitted from the account, its existence and its content remained unknown to all but the two people who used it. Only if a spook had discovered its existence and hacked into it would messages in the drafts folder be compromised. But even then, it would have to be monitored constantly, since their SOP was to delete every message as soon as it had been read. Harper found a message summoning him to a meeting with Button in Bangkok later that afternoon, which surprised him because so far, as he was aware, Button rarely left the UK. He jogged back to his apartment, showered and changed into a polo shirt and jeans, then headed down to a British restaurant, where he had a full English: eggs, bacon, sausage, black pudding, baked beans, mushrooms and fried bread, and 2 more cups of coffee. He drove the 150 kilometres to Bangkok in just over 2 hours. Button was staying at the JW Marriott in Sukhumvit Road, one of the city's best hotels. It was a short walk from the Nana Plaza red light area, but Harper was sure that Button wouldn't be dropping by. He parked in the hotel's car park. Button had given him the room number and the name she was staying under, so he bypassed reception and went straight up. He knocked on the door, and she made him wait almost a minute before opening it, which, he assumed, was her way of asserting dominance.